All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And I have some personal updates for you guys. So if you've been following along on the channel, you know that we've been expecting my second daughter. So she was born on January the 18th at around 9:02 in the morning. So obviously we woke up probably, I don't know, around like 6 a.m. that day. And so now it is the 20th of January, and I've probably, we're going on maybe trying to think 9 hours of sleep between the last few days. It's pretty brutal, not gonna lie. But powering through. I am a little quiet right now. That is because my 3-year-old is actually asleep, like right over here on the couch. She just passed out. We're not moving her. And then my, newborn is obviously upstairs asleep. So I want to get this video in for you guys, and want to get right into it here. And we're going to talk about our king first. You guys know the drill. If you guys want to see Wampa hit Relic 8 live on stream, all you need to do, get this channel to 5,000 subscribers, guys. We are flying through. We've gained so many subscribers already this month, and I can't wait to continue this trend for the rest of the year. Remember, guys, Wampa may not always be on our team, but he's always in our hearts. So let's talk about, the news we got with, and I'm not going to go to the forums or anything. I'm just going to go to Admiral Trench here. So he is a Conquest character, right? He's going to be the next Conquest character. He's a leader. He's separatist. His synergy seems to be built with the separatist units who don't have a full team yet, right? Newt, Django, Watt, Dooku, and Asajj, which I think is amazing, right? Those are characters that have really needed some synergy, some glue to hold them together. The only thing I'm nervous about is that he does really, really want to take Wat Tambor, right? He really wants Watt in his team. I forget where it is that it like really calls out Watt. Yes. And they have 10 speed for each ally with tech and enemy with extortion. So like every time you get, tech, you're real from Wat Tambor, you're gaining speed. So that's really important to Trench's kit. And the part of this that kind of, is brutal is that takes away Wat Tambor from Sith Eternal, who's kind of been like, that's like the Han Solo and Chewbacca combination, guys. That is like we haven't really split them up a lot, and makes me curious as to, will Sith Eternal get a lifter unit, and when will that happen? Because taking Watt away from Sith Eternal is going to be like brutal for a lot of us, right? Very curious to see how that happens, because you can use Savage Press there, you could use, Traya and Darth Talons and things. But again, you're just, how do we fit Sith Eternal into squads now that, we've kind of moving away from Wat Tambor. So very curious how this continues to pan out for Sith Eternal here. Just always feels like he gets slapped in the face. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. And the next thing I want to do while we're on this topic of Conquest, and I'm going to switch over to my screen here, guys. So give me 1 second. And I want to go to my Discord server here. And I want to talk about the Conquest feats. And this is kind of the bulk of the video here, is, touching base on Conquest, right, with the current events, but really talking about where I think Conquest is heading. So you've got Inquisitorius units still here, right? We've got target lock droids, defense up, and then we've got ransom, right, which is the Hondo trick, right? So there to me is like 10 banners I'm not getting between Inquisitorius and Hondo, right? I'm not getting ransom. Then we've got stuff over here, Rebel Fighter units, that's fine. Health Steal, thermal debts. Damage immunity 20 times is a little bit, we'll have to figure that out. But I think I can do that. But as I go through this, right, there's the non-separatist droids, which is, a little bit more towards the Trip 0 and BT1, right? And again, it seems like Conquest is doing that same thing they did with Inquisitorius, where those Afra characters seem to be the next big thing, and we're going to need to have them for Conquest, right? Inflict blind, no support. Grandmaster's training is here yet again, because, why not? Characters surviving, there's some interesting ones here, and then there's some ones where you're like, it's not as big of a deal. We do have a Sana Staros. She does need to survive one of these, and that's not fun. You've got the defeat 50 enemies with Hut Cartel, win of 14 battles with a full squad of Ewok units, inflict torture. So there's a lot of feats that I'm looking at here that just probably are not happening for me. Like, I think I could grind out the Hut Cartel kills. No attackers, that's not a problem. But Ewoks isn't happening, and I'm not getting torture with any of my characters. So just something that I'm going to have to be very aware of, that box 6 is probably my goal here. Um, Defeat 50 enemy with smugglers. Attempt to inflict purge 300 times. Nope, that's not happening. Fracture, that can happen, and evade attacks. And what I want to do is show you guys this conquest and say that I think this game is heading down a path where, for a long time it seemed like they wanted you to have a what I would call a tall roster, right? And a tall roster is you've got the Galactic Legends, right? You've got the best characters in the game, and they've been trending towards wanting you to have a wider roster, which is, you might not have as many Galactic Legends, but you've got these characters like Grand Inquisitor, Aphra, Starkiller, all these other little things that make up your squad, and they've been kind of pushing towards this wider roster. And I think the reason they did that is it's so much easier as someone who's, not spending money, right? Or, if you're free to play, whatever, it's easier to go after a Galactic Legend, right? They help your roster so much more in a lot of other areas. But the Conquest seems to be getting to this. You want a wider roster, right? That you don't need the Galactic Legends as much as you need some of these other squads to get these feats done, like Inquisitors right now. And obviously, it's going to continue to be the newest and greatest thing that goes in here. As far as the global feats, I do want to say I'm okay with these. So Separatist characters, that's fine, right? For me, that's going to be brutal because like my Geonosians are horrible, but we'll find a way. Full squad of Sith characters, that's easy, right? There's plenty of ways to get that. Then we need to get 20 battles with C-3PO and R2-D2 in your squad, which is fine, right? That's not hard. And then there's also win 20 battles with Trip Zero and BT1 in your squad. Remember, a key thing here is that it doesn't say surviving, it just says in the squad. So you could go and put like Sith Eternal, Grandmaster Lord Vader, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, put them in the team. And then there's a, where's it at? Win 40 battles without using a leader in the leader slot. So you kind of take that GL, you put them off to the side, let them basically solo it with those characters, and we're getting that feat. So that's going to be a rough one. I'm going to be very honest. That's going to be a grind feat, right? There's a lot of grind feats in here. Overall, guys, I think that Conquest, and I wanted to make this, more so about like the Conquest coming up, that it just seems like they want us to have a wider roster, and I'm okay with that from, like theoretically, right? But I do just want to mention why I think this is such a problem, right? And I want to go back to my game capture here just so you guys can see it. There we go. So, for myself, right, like I think I'll be able to do okay in this. I was able to get the feat here for droids, right, where like it's meant for droids. I was able to do it with Separatist droids. But, what I'm getting at is, if we go to my Ewoks, right, like, and I'm an 8 million GP player, like, I'm not getting the Ewok thing, right? That's not happening. Obviously, Inquisitorius for me, not an option, right? Like they're not good enough there. But I'm okay with that because there's something that I neglected to go after Lord Vader, right? To go after other things. The Aphra stuff, again, I'm okay with that. Like that's just part of what they've been pushing us towards. And I think that, what I want you guys to take away from this is, obviously getting you guys the news out and everything, but you need to have a such wider roster now that I think it's almost imperative that you're planning multiple things at once, right? Just like I always do with my, farming guides, right? Where, I'm talking about, you want to build this, start preparing for that next thing. Just like my, secret plans, right? That I've showed everybody. We've got Lord Vader, right? We got, a Royal Guard. Now we're moving into the Jabba farm, right? We're going to get, our Inquisitors because they got bodied by Maul. We've got passion projects, like we got Aphra. Like we've got all these things planned out, and I think that if they're trending down this path of making it and I gotta be careful how I say this, but if they're trending down this path of you need a wider roster rather than a taller roster, and I consider tall like Galactic Legends, right? Wider is those teams that you get. And I'm just going to use Inquisitors, right? They don't really, these 5 Inquisitors don't really change. They're not going to be able to beat a Galactic Legend, right? They don't change the teams that you can beat. they just give you options that you could place something on defense because these guys can, you know, go on offense or vice versa, right? But they add that, width to your roster that they make it, if you place enough of these teams down, people eventually have to use GLs if they don't have the right teams to counter them. So I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention that, there is a change in the game. And it's been very obvious to me for a little bit that they want us to stop just chasing Galactic Legend, Galactic Legend, Galactic Legend, and start moving towards those other things. And it's becoming very evident that the way they're pushing that is Conquest. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. As always, guys, smash that subscribe button. Love every single one of you. May the force be with you. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Cheers.